Dred Scott was an enslaved man owned by Dr. John Emerson, and they lived in Missouri, which is a slave state. In 1830s, the doctor moved his entire household, including his slaves, first to Illinois, which was a free state, and then to Wisconsin, which was a free territory. Slavery was banned in Wisconsin territory. Then they moved back to Missouri several years later. After the doctor dies, ownership of Scott, his now wife and children, passed to Mr. Emerson's widow. In 1846, Scott, with the help of an anti-slavery lawyer, sued for Scott's freedom. Their argument is that since he lived in a free territory and a free state, he should be free. The Supreme Court did not agree. If you remember with Isabella Bumfree, or as we call her, Sojourner Truth, she fought for her son's freedom in court. She was a black woman who won a case against a white man. She took him to court. Unfortunately for Dred Scott, Chief Justice Roger B. Taney stated that slaves were not citizens and had no right to bring a lawsuit in the first place. His residence in free soil did not make him free. He stated an enslaved person was property and protected by the Fifth Amendment, which states that property cannot be taken away without due process of the law. Taney also stated that Congress had no power to prohibit slavery in the territories and that the Missouri Compromise was unconstitutional. The Dred Scott decision, this court case, had lasting effects across the nation. The Southerners saw it as a way to get their property back and solidifying their rules and their rights and their property. The North saw it as a slap in the face because once slaves reached free states, they were considered free. Not anymore. So all those runaway slaves that are in a free area now have a fear of being taken back and being slaves again. If you caught a runaway slave, a judge would pay you in the South to return them. Unfortunately, many times they took people that were even free just to get the money. The election of 1860 divides the nation even more. There are four candidates: John Bell, John Breckinridge, Stephen Douglas, and Abraham Lincoln. Bell and Breckinridge only get 13 and 4% of the vote. They're not in the contending. Lincoln and Douglas. Lincoln gets 59% of the vote. Douglas gets 24. So Lincoln gets all 180 electoral votes, which he needs to win the election. That's great. The problem is, he was not on the Southern ballot. The states determine who's on the ballot, not the federal government. They just determine the day of the election. So Lincoln wins the election with only the North's support. They have more population. Remember, the population in the South is very thin. Slaves cannot vote, and their farms are so spread out that you do not have as much population around as you would in the cities. This is kind of the last straw for the South. They feel their rights are being violated. They feel that they are not being heard on what they want. And at this point, their state rights, they want to break away and secede from the nation and create their own nation.